Hey, what's happening, people? Welcome back to the channel. Godox just came out with the most advanced smart flash trigger on the market. Not only will trigger your Godox flash strobes, but also gonna trigger your camera and your camera manufacturer flashes through the brand new XR receiver module, which I don't have yet. But that means your Canon, Sony, or Nikon flashes will work with the receiver module. Maybe the Profoto A10 will work too. In this video, I'll break down the key features and specs you need to know, and more importantly, I will take some pictures to test its TTL performance with different strobes, so we can see how well it exposes in real wall lighting setups. The X3 Pro looks very similar with the original X3. It has a rotating dial, an on and off button. This is to check and trigger your flashes. And to the side it has an USB-C port and sync port, which we're going to talk about this later. To turn it on, just push and hold the power button. It cycles to the starting page, and you have the first interface with all the groups. I have right now 4 groups, and some of them they are on a TTL, and some are manual mode. In order to add or delete groups, you just slide and go to the bottom of the screen, and you can choose more groups. The A to F are TTL and manual. The 0 to 9 are only manual mode. If you want to see one of the groups close up, you just push on it, and now you can see the single group, and you can choose the TTL or manual. You can turn on and off modeling lamp, and if you want to change the power output on your group, you can slide your finger on the touch screen, or you can push the plus or minus button for smaller increments. The best way to adjust the output is to rotate your side dial, highlight the settings you want to change, push one more time to change to orange, and now you can fine-tune. You can go in small increments to fine-tune your group. From the main interface, you can go in the menu settings, and you have more options. The one I always turn on, and I keep it on all the time, is the high-speed sync. You go to the first curtain, second curtain, but I keep it on high-speed sync all the time, so I don't have any issues. And the wireless, you can choose the channel and the ID of your flash. Also, you can choose to turn on or off modeling lamp. You can choose and turn off if you want the light to beep when it's charging. You can lock the screen if you want to. Also, for the screen, you can turn on and off the focus assistant beam, which is new for this trigger. Is situated right here. So in a dim lighting situation, you can use this option and help your camera to focus faster. And the new feature on this trigger is the shutter control. You just choose the shutter control on the bottom, and you can have a bunch of settings you can choose. You can use the delay. You can choose how many seconds you want to delay before the camera triggers. This is very useful when you have a long exposure settings and you want to avoid any camera shakes. Also, you can use the long exposure. You can set your camera on bulb, and you choose how long the exposure to be directly on your trigger here. You just go, choose the time, and will keep the time for you. You can set an intervalometer, so you can go and choose at how many seconds apart you want the camera to trigger, and you can do like time-lapse photography. And after you make all the changes, you can just push start and start counting for you. In order to use these features, you have to use the optional XR receiver module, or you can connect your trigger directly to your camera via sync port. When you use these features, you cannot trigger the strobes. And when I was using the delay option or any other settings from here, the strobes were not triggered. So you have to keep that in mind. I wish that you can use these features together with triggering the strobes, because that will be great for any product or macro photography. I don't know when you use these features with the XR receiver module, which I don't have, but I hope I'll put my hands on it very soon and test it. Maybe with the module you can trigger the flash too, but I want to see it before I can confirm that. And of course you have the main menu. Now we have two features which many people ignore, or they don't care too much. One is the TSM, and that is depending on what flash you use, depending of the size of the flash. If it's AD100, AD200, 300, you have to choose the size of your flash. Here, let's say right now I'm gonna shoot with AD200. I'm gonna use the 200 joule is a measure of power, and that will help the trigger to communicate with your flash better, to know how much output to give to your flash. It's not very precise, but at least it helps a little bit communicating with your flash in better terms if you want to use TTL. If you have multiple flashes triggered by the X3 Pro, you just choose your main light power to make sure that the most important light communicates better with your trigger. One of the features people don't talk too much is the high-speed sync delay. This can improve the exposure with certain camera. Some camera have a unique curtain behavior, and delaying the flash slightly can align the high-speed sync pulse better with how the shutter moves. I'm going to ensure a little bit better illumination across the frame. Also, in backlit scenes, let's say you photograph somebody on during the sunset with the sun behind your subject, delaying the high-speed sync flash by a few milliseconds, I will say 2 to 3 milliseconds, can help shift the flash exposure in time, helping to preserve the natural ambient glow behind your subject. If you guys are interested to learn about the high-speed sync delay more, and you want me to do a video about this, please comment below, and I will do a more in-depth tutorial how to use high-speed sync delay in certain situations. We're gonna do a shoot indoors first with Lydia. I'm using an AD600 watts flash with a 60-inch softbox. I'm using this black background to see if the TTL will gonna get full and gonna give me overexposure, but most of these pictures look incredibly well exposed, and I have my camera on center weight metering and on phase prior. Now we are shooting outdoors with the X3 Pro on a Canon R5 with a 70-200mm lens. I'm shooting a high-speed sync. I am at 1/640 at 2.8. I have the Godox V100 on a stand, shooting to TTL. Lydia, she's again our trooper today. Like always with my cameras, I have to dial some exposure compensation, and I have a minus 0.7 stops on TTL. This is what it gives me the best exposure all the time. When you're changing the flash models, you have to go to TCM, and you have to choose the flash you are using. I'm using the 100 watts flash, so I'm choosing wisely, and it works pretty good with the settings. We are testing the X3 Pro with the AD100, the small little flash, with the angular 24-inch umbrella. It's late evening, nice sunset. Again, we have Lydia. I am shooting on TTL. I do not have any exposure compensation. I'll take a couple of shots to see how we're doing. The exposure is right on the money. This is pretty easy for a flash because I'm just using more like a fill light right now. My AD100. It's not such a big difference between X3 Pro and the X3 or any other remote trigger from Godox. The interface is very nice and easy to navigate, but don't expect that like miracles with TTL. It's the same thing. You have to know your equipment, you know when to compensate, and you gotta know how far to keep your flashes and how your modifiers are gonna affect the output of your flash, how much light are gonna eat from your flash. You need to know all this. You need practice, and you need to always to be aware that you have limitation with any flash system. If you want to be consistent, you stay on manual mode, and you can trigger your flash from a very long distance. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Please check out my channel for more lighting tutorials and gear reviews. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you next time.